Hey y'all, what's going on? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I made it, y'all. I'm a little late. Please excuse me. Excuse me. I am a little late. I had to do a couple of things at the last minute. My birthday boy has been working my nerves, y'all. Y'all know how it go. So, tried to get him a little comfortable and try to make sure he good so I can go ahead and get to my people over here. Miss Lynn, the first one in the building. My sweet, sweet, sweet Miss Lynn. It's always a pleasure to be with you and be able to spend some time with everybody. Um, y'all, so yes, we got some things going on today, y'all. Some things is going on. That's why I wanted to make sure I come a little earlier today because I might end up coming back later on. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna promise it, but I'm really hoping that I will be able to come back on a little bit later. It is a work day for many of people, so um, we'll see. We shall see. So we do have some. We're gonna go over some videos from the courts, from the testimonies and stuff like that. Hey, Ro baby, you made it, boo. Okay. We got one more in the building. And yeah, we're gonna go over some of these testimonies and stuff like that, y'all. Like I posted this video on my community wall. It's this lady, she pretty much, I guess she's like a medium or something like that, but and she speak to spirits and stuff like that. Like, a lot of them, type of people I do believe that have special gifts like that, and others can be fraud, and stuff like that. So, but with this lady, for some reason, it's like I really just came across her video yesterday, but it was like a lot of stuff that she was saying, it was pretty much on point. So it's like not only that it was on point, it was more so of what I was thinking as well. So it was like, she may have, she may be on to something. So I posted it because I'm not gonna play it on my live, but I did put it on my community wall, and you all are more than welcome to go over there and let me know what y'all think about, that particular video. She's going to do a live later on, so I do want to be able to tune into that, or just get a chance to replay it and see what really was going on. She kind of made me a believer of what she was talking about, also because as she was doing a reading when I went over one of her replays, it was some numbers that she claimed that Zanaya had gave her, and those numbers pretty much was supposed to direct anybody or direct her to where Zanaya body is at, where she's buried or whatever. And it gave a lot of specific clues and stuff. So on the video that I posted on my community wall, someone, including myself, we use those numbers as like an area code for in Detroit to see where it will actually land you, or where the specific location was. And it's so crazy is that when I did it for myself, that location actually popped up. Me and my son actually did it ourselves. And we went into it, and it's like a trail behind this house, and oh my god, y'all, it freaked me out. It's like a trail behind this house, and then behind that particular house on the, along that trail, it's like a cabin, and it have like other probably like houses and stuff like that. Like it was crazy. It kind of freaked me out a little bit because I synced it yesterday, and me and my son had started to do a little research of our own to try to see where those numbers that Zanaya had actually showed this specific medium about where her location may be. But y'all check it out and let me know what y'all think about it. Ro Baby say I did listen in on a live on TikTok that played her spirit box. It was eerie to hear, but not sure if I believe what I heard. Absolutely. Hey, birthday boy. Birthday man, not birthday boy, birthday man. Happy birthday, Terry. You and my son' birthday on the same day. Hey, it's a lot of birthdays today, actually. Definitely is a lot of birthdays today. Um, Let me go back up. I didn't miss some comments. Okay, yeah, I did miss Row Babies. Row Baby say them text messages between him and her had me gagging, girl. And I didn't hear all of those. I didn't even save it. I just, girl. But I did hear some of them. I did hear some of them. Miss Lynn say it's on the east side of Detroit. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it's like y'all know when they had this whole thing saying that they had made her drink some antifreeze, or something like that. It slipped my mind exactly where that part came from. So when I actually went on that other lady's on her reading said that it was not antifreeze, that it was bleach. And I'm like, oh my God, like seriously? But either way it go, it was a lot of details, y'all. Y'all would just have to go on that page and have to really, listen in for yourself, because I don't want to get too deep into it, but at the same time, I really do believe that it is some truth to a lot of things, that was being said and that has been told. Or we say, when you call me, I was listening to them, Lord. So hard to hear her and him speaking that way. I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot behind. They they basically, they practically tortured this baby, you know, for real. Um, she said so many moving parts to this story, so hard to keep up with what's real and fake. One thing I do know, what's real is that damn Shannon, she was the mastermind behind all of this stuff, sis. This is my theory. This is my theory. Y'all let me know if y'all, what y'all think about it. I believe that Shannon really had she felt some type of way about Naziah, first off. Um, and it sounds really strange and eerie, to actually for a old adult period to be jealous of a young child. You know what I mean? But we have seen that happen many a times, even when it had to do with parents being jealous of their own child. So that's not hard to believe. But I believe that Shannon was like, she didn't care about the whole fact of her of Naziah getting mistreated. You know what I mean? She didn't care about none of that, because that's what's been going on. That's been lingering in their family for years. That's just like the way of life for them. But what messed everything up, is the fact that dude didn't sit up here and got Naziah pregnant. So by him getting her pregnant, they already knew, like Shannon and the grandma already knew, like, man, that's gonna open up eyes to everybody. That's gonna have people investigating the family and what's going on behind the scenes. And they didn't want none of this stuff to get out. Remember, all of this stuff had been going on for years. So they didn't want that to get out. And at the same time, of course, Naziah, she probably 9 out of 10, she was feeling like she was in love with this man. She a baby. She was groomed into him. So once the whole pregnancy situation, and now she's probably was at a point to where she was showing between probably about 5.5 going into her 6 month into the 6 month. Okay, now it's really up out of hand now. We have to do something about this before it get out, out. So I believe that, once Shannon and sit up here and had the talk with Jarvis, you know, they came to some type of conclusion, so basically, okay, we're going to try to make her lose the baby or get rid of the baby. At the end of the day, we got to get rid of the baby. I believe that that's where the whole giving her antifreeze to drink was basically to try to have her lose the baby. You know, so with that part being said, I believe also that they went Shannon, by her having this type of hatred towards her niece, and the possibility of all of these secrets getting out, Shannon just lost it. She was the mastermind behind everything. She pretty much then told Jarvis, like, look, you did this, you gonna fix it, and blah blah blah. This is how this gonna work, and I believe that the grandma knew everything that set up there and happened. You know, I also believe that the reason Jarvis is steady getting all of this money on his books, they steady contacting him and having conversations with him over the phone. They trying to keep close to him for hush money. Shannon don't want him to be able to break in, like spill all the doggone beans. Because first of all, Jarvis did exactly what he did. He mentally abused and physically abused this girl. But I truly believe that Shannon was the one that took her life. Shannon was the one that buried her. Shannon was, all of that. She is literally the main suspect as far as taking her life. And I cannot wait till they come out. Let me know what y'all think. And then I'm gonna find these videos, and we're gonna get into it. Ro Baby say, "Oh, you changed. I just noticed you changed your profile picture." She said, "Ain't no way Shannon, old big body ass, didn't know that dude was messing with her niece." Yeah, she definitely knew. Like she knew everything. She knew everything from the beginning. From the beginning. The whole thing was to keep it a secret. They didn't already put it all these kids' head. You don't talk, you don't say nothing. It was just the whole fact that with Naziah started to fall for this man. She started to have feelings for him. She felt like he was her protector. So she didn't know until the end when Shannon and Jarvis started to hurt her, which led to her being unalive. She didn't know. She probably thought that she was just going to hold a conversation with him or whatever, and let it be known that she was pregnant, that she haven't had her period in months. She didn't know any of this was going to, turn out the way that it did. Ms. Lynn say a lot of those mediums are practically saying the same thing, just different locations of where she at. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Baby say the grandma knows something too. I hope it all comes out. They both know. They literally both of them, Shannon and the grandma. Miss Lynn say, "Ro, every adult in that house knew what was happening." Yeah, absolutely, Miss Lynn. Yes, and all needs to be held accountable. Oh, y'all, I really believe that Jarvis. I think he gonna end up cracking. I think he gonna be the one to set the record straight because he the one know everything. And if he don't want to go down for murder, and catch all them extra charges, he's gonna let it be known, child. I really believe that. I truly believe that. But we gonna get into it real quick. We just gonna get into it real quick. And y'all, I found out too that I was sneaking and geeking over there on Facebook. I found out that Jarvis' sister, they had been harassing her. I took a little screenshot of what she said, and I'm gonna read it out to y'all. I'm try to put I haven't uploaded on to StreamYard yet, but I'm gonna read it out to y'all, and we're gonna go from there. So I'm pulling up these. I don't want to pull up these, child. Oh, not this. Not this. Not this. Oh yeah, child. Like they is really doing too much. I'm also gonna start trying to get into this whole. People need to start looking into Jarvis little cases too. For real. I heard he got 15 cases. 15 cases. Like it's crazy. So we gonna look into this grandma. We gonna look at her testimony first. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We gonna look into her testimony because she just lied. They are they some real big liars. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Now y'all see this heifer. She didn't made it up there. She didn't walk. She see the chair. She see everything, right? She didn't walk from the bench and everything else. She done made it over there, all without her glasses. All without her glasses on, right? The first thing they sit up there and ask her if she see the suspect. Do she see Jarvis? Child, look at her reaction. She goes back and say, they looked at her like she was crazy, like, woman, stop playing. Stop it. Clearly in the mic. Okay, let me read your question, bro. Let me come back to see where you at. Let me see. Then I can go ahead and play it. Rose say, what do you think about him changing his look? The fake limping and cutting his hair wearing a COVID mask in court. Oh, so that was supposed to, people were saying that he had got beat up while he was in jail the day before, the last court, that they had, court session that they had. That's when they were saying that he got beat up and stuff like that. But the cousin Roxy, she said he did not get beat up, and even if he did get beat up, they probably just shook him up a little bit or did whatever, because he did come in court limping. I don't know if it was fake or not, but he did come up in there limping. I mean, they didn't, people know how to hurt you without really hurting you. You know what I mean? They probably didn't sit up there, gave him some body shots or did whatever, but I'm pretty sure, ain't nobody gonna touch him like that, because they probably want to know what's really going on too, what really happened, and then knowing the fact that he could possibly be the main key to finding his baby, you know what I mean? Man, that ain't gonna do nothing but mess everything up by sitting up here trying to take him out or have him incapable to sit up here and come to court, so we can continue to, trying to figure out what's going on. But they probably did put their hands on him. They probably shook him up a little bit, but they ain't do the whole most. They definitely didn't do the whole most. Now with that mask, I'm not sure about that mask, because I'm looking like, nigga, what's up with the mask? What's really going on with the mask though? That I don't know. Miss Leah said, I believe that, but the grandma and Jarvis was with her, and they need to tell where her body is. With that evil ass to do that to their niece and granddaughter. Mm-hmm. Ro Baby says something up with his oldest daughter too. She also lived in the house. Girl, I can't wait till this trial start, and I hope they get other people to be able to come in and state what they know. Ms. Leah say, yeah, because they keep poking. But in jail, I mean, literally poking. Yeah. Okay, I did get your question, sis. Um, Miss Leah say, Ro, who's the oldest daughter? Ro baby say, that goes to my question I asked. Okay, all right. They moved him, I believe. And Ro baby say, I think I'm caught up now, Miss Leah. One of the text messages revealed that Naziah, and the daughter would go to his shop together, and it sounds like he messed with her too. Miss Lynn say, "Ro, yes, okay. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and press play."
Mike, you can get up and put in your lap too if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Whenever Mr. Makepeace.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
And then Harris.
And Ms. Harris, do you know someone or did you know someone by the name of Naziah Harris?
Yes,
And who is Naziah to you?
my granddaughter.
Are you her legal guardian?
Yes, I am.
When did you become her legal guardian?
I adopted Naziah back in 2016.
And that was court work or paperwork filed and all of that to legally adopt her?
Yes, it took a process.
Oh.
Yes.
And back in January of 2024, did Naziah live with you?
Yes.
I don't want to know the specific address, but what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And is that in the city of Detroit, Wayne County?
Yes, it is.
How long had Naziah been living with you at that address on Bedford?
I became a medical assistant in less than 7 months. Let me show you how. You're not going to believe how easy this is. Just heading over to MedSurge, chose a program.
Oh, wow. Yeah, basically, I mean, ever since I've had her,
Since 2016?
well, we moved to another house.
Okay, when did you move into the Bedford house?
Let me see, 2019, we moved in that house and then moved in the house that I am now, which is still on Bedford.
Okay. And did Naziah make those moves with you?
Yes.
And in January of 2024, at that Bedford location, who else lived there?
Just me, the kids. My other daughter lived with me at the other address. But it was just basically me and my kids and Shannon.
Yeah, you tried to
daughter.
leave her
And
out.
what's her last name?
Harris.
And she lived with you and Naziah and the other kids at the Bedford location?
How she was going? She was just finna try to leave Shannon ass up out of it.
First Bedford location.
Okay. At
Yes.
that first Bedford location, how many other kids in addition to Naziah lived there?
My other two, my grandson and my other grandchildren.
Okay. So how many kids total in that house?
Let's see. 6. Should have been 6.
And you and Shannon, correct?
Well,
Living there.
Shannon, she was there, but she wasn't really like there all the time.
Yeah.
She would spend more majority of her time at my house, but actually Shannon had her place out in Clinton Township.
And when you were there in January of 24, how old was Naziah at that time?
January 24th, she had 13. She had a birthday in September.
And was she going to school?
Yes, she was.
What school did she attend?
J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy.
And is that also in Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Just generally, can you tell us about your morning routine with the kids, specifically Naziah, about getting them to school and things like that?
Sure. Okay. 6 a.m. That's when I get the children up. They usually get up, get dressed, prepare themselves. About 7:15, 7:20, we're basically saying prayer and we're loading up in the car. I'm dropping them off at school at 7:30. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and they like to eat breakfast at school.
And does that include Naziah? You would drop her off at J.E. Clark?
All together, yes.
Now, I want to talk.
Most definitely will. most definitely will be playing that video because she forgot how she yelling at them and verbally abusing them in that morning routine of them getting ready to go to school.
About, well, let me ask it this way. Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today? If you need to stand up, then look around.
Look at her. Look at her, y'all. Acting like she don't see him. Like, girl, stop.
I have my glasses on. I don't see them.
Look at her. Everybody looking like this. She lost her man.
Do you need glasses, ma'am?
Yeah,
Okay,
my daughter has my glasses.
Okay, Judge, may I take a moment to go get her glasses?
Can't make this stuff up. Why she can't see him? Look at it. You see the judge's face, child? Look right at him. The nerve. You a liar. Like, girl, stop. Talking about you can't see him.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Yeah, he kept his head down the whole time throughout a lot of people testimony. Yeah.
If you could just stand up and take another look.
Okay. Yes.
Do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you
Yes.
point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
Blue uniform with the blue mask.
For the record, the witness is identified.
The only one in there with a mask on.
Summer Bucket.
And may I
Liar.
approach the witness again, Judge?
Yeah.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's 9. And Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
And is that the same person you've identified in court here today?
Yes.
And
Can't see him.
Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
Dip and dip some more. Our chicken tenders are sure to delight with every bite.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans may qualify for
These ass be blowing me.
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
Whenever he did come, he would always pull up in a white truck, and Shannon would go out to the car, and they would sit and talk or whatever. But he
Why?
would very rarely come in my house.
Liar.
And during that time when he would come around and sit in his car, was there any times that he would interact with Naziah that you saw?
Look at her.
Not that I remember now.
Okay. Now I want to talk specifically about January 9th.
So he didn't never interact with her from what she's saying, but it was several different people that have seen her up in this man's car, up in his truck. Even the father, if y'all remember, the father was like that. The grandma told her, told him that Naziah was going to some truck or whatever, and she was asking, well, who truck this and that was that she was going to, and she was, and Naziah was supposed to have said that it was her daddy, and the grandma told her, no, that's not your daddy, or something, like that. So she always had some type of contact with that girl. Why this lady? Oh, she a liar.
You had described your morning routine with the kids. Did you follow that routine on January 9th?
Yes, I did.
And did that include dropping Naziah off at J.E. Clark 7:15 to 7:30?
Yes.
And can you tell us what she was wearing on January 9th, 2024?
Yes, she was wearing a pair of light powdered blue jeans with a light powder blue jacket that had the black little fur around the collar. It was like a two-piece set.
Okay. And did she have a sweater on or a shirt on or something?
She had a shirt. She wore a shirt underneath it.
And you remember, did she have any other clothes with her on the 9th when you dropped her off?
She had her little blue sweatshirt with the little hoodie. She had that with her.
And do you know how or when she got that hoodie?
I bought that hoodie for her. I guess it was in the fall sometime when I bought it. When I first, I mean, it wasn't nothing new. It was just one of her old hoodie jackets she used when she go to gym.
And in terms of, if you know, the condition of that hoodie on the 9th, was it torn, ripped, damaged in any way?
No, it was fairly really like kind of like still new because she took pretty good care of her things.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach you?
Yes.
I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 12. Ms. Harris, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes,
And is that a picture of Neziah?
yes.
And do you know when that picture was taken?
The same day, January the 9th, she took this picture.
Move to admit People's Proposed 12.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 12.
And when you dropped Neziah off at J.E. Clark, what was the routine supposed to be after school was over?
Okay, well, when school is over, the bell rings at 2:40. Neziah was due to come home. And normally when the bell rings, 2:40, 2:45, she's getting on the bus.
Now you just made a good that's what's up, Miss Lynn. Like I literally have to highlight that. Miss Lynn say, what I don't get is why was Neziah on the bus that day when Evil said that she takes them to school and picks them up every day? She picked up the other kids that day. For real. You didn't so you didn't take her to school that day, huh? What is it? Because I thought that they said that she got off the bus. When she got off the bus, she actually went straight to where Jarvis was at. Okay, let's get back to it.
And that's what she normally did on other days?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And
yes.
what time would she normally arrive back at home?
The Neziah would be walking in through the door maybe 3:05, no later than that.
And on January 9th, did she walk in at 3:05?
No, she did not.
And were you home when she didn't come home?
I was there for a little while, but I left out to run some errands. But no, when I got to the house, she was not there.
And that's what I was thinking too, Miss Lynn, because they wear uniform to school. You know what I mean? So how did she, if she didn't come to the house, how did she end up changing clothes? Did she bring a change of clothes with her, change her clothes after the school was over, and then, turned around and got on the bus and went straight wherever, where she went? Or she would have had to go home to change her clothes and then turned around and met Jarvis.
And at that time, did you have a conversation with someone else about her not coming home, Neziah not coming home?
Yeah. When I picked my children up from the after school program, I went in and my daughter said,
Objection to what a doctor said, it's one of the hearsay.
English.
I'll rephrase the question.
Okay, sustain.
Just talking about what you saw and heard, and not asking for what anybody said, but did you talk to Shannon, your daughter?
yes,
about
Shannon said she was not there.
And the whole time Shannon knew
when
exactly
you
where
got
she
home
was at.
that day on the 9th? Was Neziah there?
No.
And did you eventually make a police report about her missing?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
And
did.
when did you do that?
that morning when I got to school. I went up and dropped the kids off to school. I talked with the dean and the principal. And I told them that I was on my way to police station. And they told me that they would call the police, and the police, DPS police came there.
And you said DPS, is that Detroit Public Schools?
Yeah.
And did you talk to an
So I really believe that I believe that the grandma probably didn't know, she probably did kind of, thought that the girl probably ran away or whatever, but I don't think that she actually knew what happened to her until her and Shannon went up to Jarvis' job, because they was up there. You know what I mean? And she was aware at some point, once she got those two together, she knew what the hell happened to her from that point. She knew what happened from that point.
officer at that time at the school?
Yes, I did.
And was that at J.E. Clark physically at that location?
Yes.
And you said that morning, are you talking about the morning of the 10th?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was Naziah active on social media, if you know?
Well, as far as I know, she was. There were times that she was sneaking, go on it, But yeah, she was.
And did you keep track of her social media pages like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that?
I tried. A lot of times, I would take her phone and stuff from her, to keep her from being on there,
And after the 9th, did you ever see any posts made by Naziah?
I didn't see any posts. Most of the time, if there was a post or something, or she posts, my daughter or someone would call me and tell me.
Have you ever heard, after the 9th, any communication or seen Naziah?
Mm-mm.
When, is that a no?
No.
And when you dropped her off on the 9th at school at J.E. Clark, was that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
May I have one moment, sir?
Yes.
Just to follow up, I did forget to ask this. Her bus stop, how far from your house was that in walking distance?
5 minutes.
Do you know where the location that she got dropped off at was, the address or the intersection?
Right there at a 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall.
And that's 5 minutes from your house?
Yeah.
And did Naziah have any nicknames that people called her?
Where her family called her Tutor, but I've always called her Glamorous. I've been calling her that ever since she was born.
Is it Glamour?
Glamorous.
Oh. May I have one more objection?
Yes. You said Tutor?
Tutor.
Tutor.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, Russ.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Now, you are Naziah's maternal grandmother, correct?
Correct.
You're also an adopted parent, correct?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah. Should have been 16.
Okay. Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with Naziah like that. She only came around now and then.
Okay. And you testified that you currently stay on Bedford Street?
Yes.
In fact, I think you testified you lived on 2 houses on Bedford Street.
Correct.
And did Naziah have friends on Bedford Street that you were aware of?
She had friends, but her friends didn't live on Bedford.
Okay. Do you know if she ever had any friends over?
No.
did she ever spend the night at any of these friends' houses?
No,
Of course she did. She had too much damn time.
And at your prior neighborhood,
Oh,
did she have friends that she may have spent the night over?
no,
You indicated that there are approximately 6 children in the house.
well, not now. When he asked me about the address,
Yes.
I lived at 2 houses, which is on the same street of Bedford.
Okay.
Okay, so the house that we lived in before, it was my children and my daughter's children.
Your daughter being Shannon,
No, Marquita.
Marquita,
Mhm.
okay. And did Naziah have any close relationship with any of these children particularly?
She was close with my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, yeah.
Which granddaughter is that?
Naziah, Janiyah.
Okay.
All of their names are similar.
And Janiyah is Shannon's daughter?
Yes,
That would be Jarvis's daughter as well, correct?
correct.
And at your Bedford Street address, how many adults live there?
Just me and Shannon.
Okay. When did Shannon move in?
I'm sorry.
When did Shannon move in to Bedford?
Oh, I guess back in last October or something.
That would be October of 23.
Yeah,
So in January of 24, she was there, correct?
hmm
Sorry, is that a yes?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Look at her. Y'all see her body language? Is y'all paying attention to her body language? Like, anytime he asks her anything about Shannon, she always say, Then she frown, she get them little wrinkles at the top of her little forehead, and like acting like she didn't hear what he said, to try to sit up here and, give herself a head start to try to think about how she gonna answer the question without her even. I mean, not only that, she get the moving a lot, all kind of stuff, her mouth expression, like movements and stuff. But every time he say something about Shannon, her whole body language changed.
And you indicated that Naziah participated in social media.
She did participate in social media. She was on social media a lot of times when she wasn't supposed to be.
So did you see her post or did you follow her post?
I didn't see her really posting anything. I mean, at times when I did check, I didn't find anything.
Okay.
And most of the time, if she did post something, my daughter's then would, let me know, if she posted something. Like,
So you don't know who her social media friends were?
the only person that I know that was one of her classmates that she would post little things with one of her little classmates.
Okay. But it's fair to say there are some things you did not know.
Yeah, well, something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is your collagen a superfood? Is it super easy to add to your routine? Is it proven with ingredients backed by
Now, you indicated that you drove Naziah to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school with Naziah?
My other 2 children, Shannon's children.
Okay.
That's 7.
And what type of student was Naziah?
Naziah was a very good student, very manageable, very outgoing. She got good grades. Her attendance was good. The teachers had no problem with her. They really liked Naziah. Naziah got along with just about anybody. She was very likable.
Did she have any disciplinary problems?
No,
Do you recall her ever getting into a fight?
she did.
One fight, more than one fight?
There was a young lady that she had couple of, consultations with in school. And it was like an ongoing situation.
Okay. And when did this first start?
I'm not quite sure when it started, but it was like off and on, with this particular schoolmate that she had.
And this is for her current school, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did Naziah participate in any extracurricular activities? Was she on band or anything?
She liked it, gym, robotics, art. I mean, she liked a lot of
Extracurriculum,
things
girl.
that she was, involved in,
And would any of these things cause her to have stayed after school?
The only time she stayed after school was when she wanted to be enrolled in the after school program.
I cannot.
Just one.
Unbelievable.
I just want to step back a moment. We asked you about her social media. You said there were some things that you weren't aware of on social media, correct? Did you ever check her direct messages?
Like I said, I did, but when I did, there was nothing on there.
There was nothing.
No.
Okay. Did you monitor any of her conversations?
Yeah, I would, go check,
Okay.
but like I said, a lot of times, I took Naziah's tablet, from her, at one point, so.
So if you took her tablet and you claim that you was monitoring her text at some point, like you say, you ain't never came. What type of monitoring was you doing that you did not come up to those doggone text messages between her and that man, that whole man? So you lying somewhere, lady. It's either you sync those text messages or you never monitor her phone, or you sync them text messages and just blew it off. Which I believe I don't think she ever touched a damn girl phone at all. I don't think she monitored anything.
There was really nothing that I knew of that she was on unless she got somebody's cell phone or something,
Okay. So you did mention that she had a tablet. How many devices did she have that allowed her to connect to social media?
She only had that one tablet that I had bought her. And like I said, I took that tablet.
So how she end up with a phone, but a phone that you just claimed that you monitored? So you so-called was monitoring a phone that you don't know that she had, but the only thing that she had that you knew was a tablet. And Shannon tried to say the same thing. Shannon sat up here and said up in the text messages that Naziah didn't have no phone, that she only had a tablet. But Grandma said otherwise.
Tablet and put that tablet up.
So on January 9th, you took her to school, correct?
Correct.
And you said it was her and two of your other children that went to school?
My two other children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her. My daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did nothing. And that morning, I got up, and like I said, I went straight to the school. And from there, I
Look
was
at
on
the
my way to police station to make the report. And they called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report you made to the police was the next morning?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time?
School starts at 7:30, so I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school, and the school called the police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave, and the dean said, "No, stay here." She said, "And we'll call the police."
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are.
If my child ain't-
Correct?
Come on, y'all. Like, make this make sense. If your child have not came home from school when she normally be home around a certain time every single day, in this particular day, she did not come home. Nobody called you and told you that she was missing. You came home and you say you realized that she wasn't there. So, but why wouldn't you call the police right then and there? You wait all night on up until the next morning to go to the school first, not call the police all night. That's crazy. I could never. My baby missing, y'all already know. The first thing you're going to do is call the damn police.
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay, and he dated your daughter Shannon, correct?
Correct.
They did have 5 children, correct?
Correct.
And did all the children stay with you and Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to give too much detail on the kids. What were the mix of boys and girls?
Can you repeat that?
What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Well, I have a boy and girl, and Shannon has her 3 boys and her 2 girls.
So she had 3 boys and the 2 girls. Okay.
With 4 little girls.
And at any time, now I think you did indicate that Mr. Butts would come over, and I think you said he would rarely come in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But he would come in on occasion, correct?
Not really on occasions, because most of the time when he came in, he would pull up in my driveway, and my daughter would go out to the truck, and a lot of times the kids would go out to the truck. So it was very rare if he ever came in my house.
And you indicated that you were close with Neziah?
Yes.
Can you think of any reason that Neziah would not share information with you?
No. Neziah would come to me and talk to me all the time. If something was bothering her, or if she had a bad day in school, she'll come to me and we'll sit and talk about it. I always kept the door open for communication with Neziah, and with really.
For more of a reason why your ass should have stood up there. If you really was concerned, you would have called the police soon something was totally different from her regular and her daily routine. You would have called the damn police. You wouldn't be able to sleep till the next damn morning. The hell?
All of my children. So she always felt free, to come to me and sit down and talk to me about whatever.
So if something was frustrating Neziah, she would come with you?
She would, that I know of, yes.
All right, if something was scaring Neziah, she would come to you?
If something was bothering her, or she was frustrated about something, she'll come to me and say, "Hey, Nana, can I talk to you?"
If there was any medical condition, she would come to you regarding that?
I believe she would, yes.
You take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see that medical history. You was taking her to the doctor? Let me see that medical history. I hope they pulled that record up. Please pull that medical record up. Because if she was really taking that baby to the doctor, it would be noted. It would definitely be noted. It would be noted as far as when she very first had sex. So, yes, please. I hope they get the medical records.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Ms. Harris, I just have a couple more questions for you. When Mr. Riggins was asking you questions, you said that Mr. Butts would come and sit in his car, right, outside your house?
Yes,
And you said that the kids would go out to the car.
yes.
Which kids would go out to the car?
His kids.
Would Neziah ever go with his kids out to the car?
If Shannon was out there, she would.
And Mr. Riggins also asked you about the tablet that you bought for Neziah. Do you
Yes.
remember those questions?
Yes.
And when, if you can remember, narrow that down, when did you buy that tablet for her?
I bought that tablet for her one Christmas.
Yeah, please.
I think it was in 22 when I bought that tablet, at the end of 22 when I bought that tablet for her.
So December of 22.
Yeah, I think that when I bought that tablet.
So she would have had that tablet for roughly.
So that's crazy. 22. So if she bought that tablet back Christmas of 22, that's supposed to be like the time frame that this supposed to have been going on between her and Jarvis, because he had started SAing her 2 years prior to her being missing. So that would add up to that. So that's when the communication started between them two. Is that why that tablet was bought, or what's really going on with them days like that date? What a coincidence. You bought that the 2 years that she was being, SA.
Just over a year then, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And did Neziah also have access to a cell phone?
The only cell phone she had access to was one of the cell phones when my oldest daughter came to visit me. She gave to Neziah, but she could only use it by Wi-Fi.
You said your oldest daughter, is that Neziah's biological mother?
Yes.
Okay. And through, what's your oldest daughter's name?
Kenyatta Harris.
Through Kenyatta Harris, Neziah got access to a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Riggins also asked you about Neziah staying after school. You said that there was an after-school program she was involved in.
Yes.
On January 9th and in January of 24, was she still involved in that program?
No, I took her out of it because she was having problems with one of her schoolmates at that time. The same person that he asked me about before that she didn't get along with.
The same person Mr. Riggins asked you.
Absolutely.
And so on the 9th, she was not supposed to stay after school. correct?
No, she was supposed to come straight home.
And when she didn't come home, you said that you were driving around looking for her,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what efforts you made on the 9th to locate her?
When I went to the school to go pick my son and daughter up because they were also in the after school program, picked them up, went back to the house. I thought she was there. And when I got to the house and I found out that she wasn't there, I got back in the car and I went back up to the school. And by that time, nobody was there. Nobody was at the school. So now, I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm frustrated. Now I'm going like, because whenever she wants to stay after school or do something, she would always call me. Well, hey, Nana, can I stay after school? Or
So why you didn't call the police?
she would call one of her TTs, hey, TT, can I stay after school? So that wasn't like her. So I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
I want to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at the school. You went back to the house. Nizaya is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Where did you go with her?
I was driving around in the neighborhood, everywhere. I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her,
Yeah, just walking. Just walking.
We have one more, Judge? On the 9th, when you were looking for her, well, let me ask it this way. Did you know Nizaya to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and then went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get there? If you remember?
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white?
So why didn't you go to the shop? You just said you was riding around trying to see if she was just gonna be walking around somewhere. Just walking around for somewhere. All damn just walking. But you ain't never go to that shop though. You just let it be known that you was familiar with that shop and that, but you never went. You never said you went.
A white truck that you talked about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you yourself know where Mr. Butts worked at?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know where is that?
It was Frank's shop located on East Warren.
And is that the last place that you knew him to work? Or did you know him to work somewhere else?
I knew him to work there, and then the shop moved to a different location.
Did you know where that new location was?
Personally, no.
Okay. And did you ever, on the 9th, did you ever try and go to Mr. Butts' place of work to look for Nizaya?
On the 9th, no.
Nothing further, Justin.
I thought she went looking for her. Girl, y'all. We can't make this stuff up. We cannot make this stuff up. We cannot. I really want to see, these I really want to see them win this case. Detroit need to get on their shit for real. Get on y'all shit for real. I hope they write down all these little, everything that's being said, all the right key points, all of that, because they is definitely lying. I haven't seen Shannon's either, so I'm gonna pull Shannon's up. A lot of shit don't even make sense. It was, if y'all would have seen them people face, y'all weren't seeing those witness faces and the judge reaction. Oh, so they looking like, girl, stop lying now. I know you lying. And Ro Baby say, half ass looking, well, not looking. Girl, I don't think she looked at all. I don't think she did nothing. I think when she got there, she probably, Shannon probably told her what was going on or whatever, and they had dinner. And she act like she ain't know what the hell was going on. They was plotting and planning from that point, from the time she got home. I don't think they looked for her out. She probably went up to the school. She probably did. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna mute while I look for this other video.
Hey, y'all.
That's my son. He said, "Hey y'all, hey sis, hey Miss Sexy." Birthday boy say, "Hey y'all." Okay, everybody say happy birthday. Okay, y'all, here we go. So we about to look at the video of Jarvis his sister's testimony. We about to hear her testimony. So let me share my screen. All right, here we go, y'all.
Tijuana Butts,
And how old are you, Miss Butts?
46.
And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes,
And how is it that you know him?
he's my brother.
Okay. And how old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes,
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
I saw him walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind the lady to the side of you.
And Your Honor, would the record reflect when it says identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected. And just to be clear, you said I saw him walking in. You saw him when you were walking in or when he was walking in?
When I was walking in just now.
Thank you.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and F, called Frank's, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26, 2024?
Yes,
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this off?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes,
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a two car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother,
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe a Cadillac Escalade,
Okay, do you remember what color?
kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a like a two garage shop.
Yes,
Okay, and I want to approach with people's exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Books, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in people's exhibit 7?
yes,
Okay, what is that?
that is the shop
Okay,
right in the middle.
and where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis's truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here, I was parked facing, I don't know what direction it is, but going towards Gratiot. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yeah, your car was.
Can I?
Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction, so the front was
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay. Now, do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Okay. And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. You under my approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Handing you what's marked as People's Exhibits 2 and 10. Okay. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10? Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day.
Yes.
And move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that also, where is the, what you recognize as People's Exhibit 2?
It looks like channel 2 here maybe.
Okay, facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And you recognize the jacket in this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but it looks the same.
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
It would be this one right here.
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket? Or it seems to be the back of a jacket? Okay. Thank you.
My thing with her is, y'all, is that it's a picture. It's a picture out there of her holding Naziah when she was younger. She was like a small little toddler, or, probably right. She probably was, I don't know, maybe about 14 months or something. I'm not too sure, but she was still a baby, you know what I mean? And she was holding her on that picture. So it's like, you obviously been around this family as well. And by you being his sister, how do you not know that this man had other similar cases like this? It's just that it didn't end up in, death. So, but you had, at some point, you had to be very aware, that this man, that your brother had these type of charges on him. He got a whole history behind all of this stuff. So, I mean, I feel, she giving like this look, yes, she discussed it, you know what I mean? Which I'll be disgusted too, you know what I mean? But it's also like, okay, don't act like this is you surprised. Like, you're not, you should know he been this for quite some time. He had been doing this for quite some time. He already was in this family. He got 5 babies up in his family. So, girl.
And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out and going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
I would say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit farther, I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, boy, I'm really bad at estimates.
20, 25 feet?
Yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car. When I was walking towards her, I was like, she's tiny, and I just remembered the coat.
Okay. Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Kind of skinny and short.
Okay. And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word, or he said it's my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay, but you knew who he was referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
No.
Okay. And what is it that made you think something? Was there a time where you thought something different?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it that made you think something different?
I received phone call, well, a video call from one of his kids' mom, and she told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of receiving those things?
I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number,
Okay. And who's the Shannon that you called?
his kid's mom.
Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do anything before you go and talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you do?
Okay, so after having a conversation with Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where the
Objection, this is hearsay.
There's not a statement yet, Judge.
Being informed.
I'm not sure what she's even about to say.
Okay, just to the extent that it's informed of someone else's statement.
You might have to object in a couple moments.
You need to speak up.
If you could stand up and
Please.
make your objection.
Yes, just objecting to the fact that she was informed of something. It appears this might be hearsay, but we'll see.
Yeah. Could you finish what you were saying? I don't know where you were going with this.
I'm trying to remember where I left. Okay, so after talking to Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed of some things that had taken place I think Valentine's Day. So they told me that his
So
partner
objection.
King
Okay, so at
Say-
this point, this is hearsay. They told me in the lack of personal knowledge the things that she was informed of.
Can I finish?
1 second.
What?
What is an objection?
I'm
Everybody-
sorry.
The witness
Sorry.
has to stop talking.
So based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
His partner King
Okay. And where is it that you go and talk to King at?
at the shop on Harbor Encounters.
Okay. And without telling me what King said, kind of describe what was your conversation about?
Well, I went to see what happened and what was going on. During that time, I told him that I had never seen any little girl at my brother's shop besides my nieces, outside of the little girl that I saw getting out of his truck that day.
Okay.
And you told this to who?
King.
Okay.
Who is King again?
His business partner.
Okay. And do you know his government name?
I believe it's Cordero or something like that. I just always call him King.
So you went and told him that you hadn't seen anyone out at the shop besides your nieces and then the one little girl you saw that one day.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask him about that little girl?
Well, I didn't ask him about it. After I said that to him, he told me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is going to be hearsay again.
Judge, it's going to go to the effect of on the listening.
There could be an exception. I don't know what she's saying. So you might as well just stay standing up. Go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was Naziah that I saw that day and I was there.
I would object then, given now that she has testified to that it is hearsay, that it is being introduced for the truth.
And Judge, I would say that it's actually a statement of identification.
So this is not an identification that she personally made, she's just being told.
When she saw Naziah that day, so it's
She didn't know who it was. I mean, she had no idea who this was. That's
She
not
didn't know
her
who she was.
identification.
So it is hearsay.
Okay. So without saying what King said, were you informed of anything about a little girl that you saw on January 9th, 2024?
Yes,
Okay. And to your knowledge, Jarvis had told you that that was King's niece.
yes,
Okay. And when you talked to King, did you have reason to not believe what Jarvis told you?
yes,
Okay. Do you know your nieces from Jarvis? Sorry. That is a poorly worded question. I am sorry. If that was your niece, would you have recognized her that day?
yes,
Okay. And you did not recognize this little girl as your niece, did you?
no,
Okay. What is it that you did after speaking with King that day?
I called Shannon Harris and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry about that. What day was it that you went to the shop and saw the little girl?
can I ask you a question? I didn't remember the exact day at that time.
Okay. What is it that makes you believe that it was Nazai Harris that you saw on that day?
I'm not quite sure how to answer what you're asking me, like,
That may be a poorly worded question. I'm sorry. Can I just have 1 second, George?
Yes.
Ms. Butts, did you come to learn of the day that you had gone to Jarvis's shop by going through the locations on your phone?
yes,
Okay. And that's the day that you don't remember off the top of your head right now, but it is revealed in your phone locations?
yes.
Let's see here. One second, let me find it. When is it that you went through your phone locations to determine the date? I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
Um, I believe it's February, I think like 24th or the 26th. I can't remember the exact date.
Okay, that's when you would have went through your phone to find those?
Yes.
Okay, and did you also go through that in your interview with Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. And did you give Sergeant Jones permission to look at your location data?
Yes.
Okay. And your phone kind of extraction in general? Like to go through your phone for the data?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge.
Now with her, I could kind of understand, probably her feeling some type of guilt or, because at the end of the day, she was just trying to get the car fixed. She sent the girl. I don't think that, it was ever known that she have known for her brother to be involved with unaliving, or any of this that probably was happening like that. Plus, we don't know what type of relationship her and her brother actually have either. But I don't know. It don't even matter. But I do not feel like she knew what was going to happen to Nazaria was going to happen. And it just the thought of it, because I'm trying to just think outside the box, just the thought of I'm somewhere at my people's getting my car fixed. I see this little girl. I probably haven't seen her in quite some time, but I see this little girl or whatever, and then I come to find out now she's unalive. Literally, she is unalive. That's crazy. So yeah, they are currently harassing this lady too on Facebook, y'all. I'm about to upload a couple of things. I kind of feel like her tears are valid though, in other words, because that is a real kind of messed up situation to be in. It's like you sitting right here testifying over something that you did not think would ever happen. And it's crazy to even know in your head that you probably was the last person that sent this little girl.
So you go to the shop where your brother works periodically, right?
From time to time, yes.
You've been there prior to the day we've been talking about today?
Yes.
A couple times at least?
Yes.
And you've been back there after?
Yes.
But the day we've been talking about, that's the only time you ever saw a child there?
That was the only time I saw a child I didn't recognize.
Okay, so you had seen other children there before?
Yes.
Okay, when you say that you recognize, these are who exactly?
My
usually?
nieces.
And when you first arrived at the shop that day, Jarvis told you that he wasn't going to be able to work on your car?
No.
No? Did you ask him if he'd be able to?
Judge, I think this calls for hearsay. They can't admit statements of the defendant.
I'm looking more so for her own statement, actually.
For her
We'll
what?
start with her own statement.
Okay.
Did you ask him right away if he would be able to work on your car
I talked to him prior to coming to the shop.
before you arrived? You asked if he could work on your car that day?
I asked him to look at my car that day.
Okay. Did you arrive at the shop with the understanding that he would or would not be able to?
I arrived at the shop knowing that he was going to look at my car.
Okay. One moment. And was that via text or call or some other way?
Probably video call.
Okay, so a video call a little bit before you headed over?
Earlier in the day, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what time.
Okay, so that's how you decided that you'd go over later.
He told me I could come.
This is kind of all calling for hearsay in a backdoor way.
The response is hearsay. Not that
Yes.
you necessarily asked for it, but it's hearsay.
Sure, we can
Can be
keep it as her own. So to be clear, we don't need to talk about what he said to you, but you did a video call to him. And in that call, you asked if he could work on your car.
You
Right.
keep saying work on my car. I said, look at my car.
Okay, look at your car, but you asked him personally in the video.
Yes.
Okay, and that was maybe.
Hey, Miranda.
I don't remember what time of day it was, but it was before I went to him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and as you were saying, this day, I think you said you saw some other children there at other times, but this particular child, you only ever saw this child on this particular day.
Yes.
And the whole time you were there, from your testimony and from that police interview, you said that you never saw her face.
Yes.
And then you did also see some news stories about this case.
Yes.
Yeah, in the podcast that you talked about. Right, there were some podcasts.
I had already saw her on the news, but I did not know who she was.
Sure, but that was by seeing those stories, that's how you started to think.
Well, I was sent the podcast after some other things that was told to me. That's when I received the podcast.
So initially, between the day you were at the shop, right, and then until you started to see that news, at first you didn't make this connection that maybe she was anyone in particular.
Not at all.
Okay. And then through seeing that news, those podcasts, that's when you started to think she
No,
was.
that's not the reason why I thought that.
No, but that's the timing, or it's not?
I guess you could say that.
That's when you started to, at least when you saw those things, that's when you started to wonder.
I was wondering before I saw the podcast.
Okay, in your police interview that you did,
Mhm.
did you tell them that at first when you saw the news, you didn't really make a connection because of not having seen her face?
Yes.
Okay. So that interview was on February 26th, 2024, right?
Yes.
And you were having some trouble remembering some of the specific details from January 9th at that point?
Not so much as remembering maybe the order I remembered it in.
Okay, were there some times at least though when you were asked some questions and some details that you had to say, I can't remember some things?
I can't remember now.
Okay. And would you agree that at least
Like,
when it
it didn't mean that.
okay. I was just saying,
probably did. I guess it would be safe to say because I didn't know.
okay, so you think it's safe to say that at that point in time, there are at least some details you were having a hard time, some questions you couldn't answer.
I can't disagree.
And it was pretty close in time, shortly before that police interview. That was when you first started to think that maybe this girl you'd seen at the shop had been Messiah Harris.
Can you repeat that?
So the first time you started to think that maybe that child, the one you saw, maybe that was Messiah Harris, that was pretty close in time to the police interview.
Maybe about a week or so before.
Okay. I believe, does it sound right to you that I think you told the police that it was on the Thursday prior to the interview?
Whatever the Thursday was after Valentine's Day.
Okay. So probably February 22nd. That was the Thursday prior to your interview.
Okay.
And then when you were at the shop, you primarily saw this child while she was inside a truck, right?
I didn't know it was a child in the truck until she kept getting out.
Okay, but when you saw her, she was in a truck?
I saw her getting out the truck, yes.
And were you inside your vehicle?
Yes.
You arrived in the daylight, right?
Yes.
Don't try to
And
get
that's
no
what
attitude.
you're referring to, right? Initially, that's when you didn't yet know somebody was in the truck.
Can you say that again?
So at the beginning, when you first got there, right, you didn't know right away that somebody was in the truck.
No, I didn't.
I think you had said before because it was so light outside, it was a bit difficult to see into the truck.
I wasn't really paying attention to his truck. He was outside of it.
And then in your police interview, you referred to then seeing a light in the truck, and that's when you started to see somebody.
Yeah, that's when the door opened.
Okay, so there was a light turned on, and at the same time, a door opened.
That's the reason the light was on.
Okay.
She's trying to get jazzy.
Yes.
Sure.
No. Look, child.
And you said that you saw a couple different times her go back and forth to the gas station,
Yes.
and only one of those different times you were on your way to the gas station as well.
Yes.
But for that whole time, she remained in front of you.
When I was going into the gas station, she was in front of me. When I walked into the gas station, she went to the left, I went straight, and over to the right.
For that walk over to the gas station, was it getting dark at that point?
It was already dark.
Okay. And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I can't remember, no.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So you understood initially that when you arrived, you'd probably have to wait at the shop sometime?
Yes.
I think you referred to just one other car he worked on first. Is that all there was before you?
It was actually another vehicle out there, but I don't pay my brother to work on my car, so I had to wait until he was done making his money. So
Sure.
I waited.
Sure. So do you know how many cars he worked on before he got to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if there were any other customers present in person?
I did see someone, I can't remember what kind of car it was in, but it was, I believe, a gentleman that needed to pull into the garage because Jarvis asked me to move my car out the way because I was blocking the garage. So, yes.
Was this someone you recognized at all?
No.
So in total, other than Jarvis, or who you referred to as King, was there anyone present that you recognized that day?
No. Just King and my brother.
So as you said, the sun set while you were there. Do you know about how long it was light out before it got dark?
Well, I got there about 4 o'clock. It didn't take long for it to get dark. I don't remember the exact time, but it got dark pretty fast.
Okay, and then other than when you went to the gas station, were you always at the shop?
What do you mean?
So did you go anywhere else?
No, I never left. All I did was move my car when he asked me to move my car. And once the driveway was clear, I back where I was. I didn't go anywhere.
Okay. And when you were present, not going to the gas station, were you always inside your vehicle?
Yes,
Were your doors open or closed?
closed.
Okay, and were your windows up or down?
They were up unless I asked him something.
Okay, so sometimes if you needed to communicate, you just open the window.
Or I would call him, yeah. Yes.
And you were saying today that at one point you did speak to Jarvis about who this girl was.
Yes.
And when you were talking to the police about this, you had said that you weren't sure exactly what his response was.
What I said was I wasn't sure of the word.
Sure, that's what I mean. That
Okay.
You told the police, right, that it might have been King's niece, or maybe he said it's my homeboy's niece?
He said it was his partner or King's niece, but he definitely said it was someone else's niece.
Okay, I mean, does it sound right to you that you used the term homeboy's niece with the police?
I probably did.
Okay.
At this point, girl, she don't believe her own self.
And then that's what you continue to think at first, right? At first, you just believe that it was someone else's niece.
Yeah,
Specifically, you thought it was probably King's niece,
that's what I was told.
which I think is what established, right? King is the same person as Cordell, right?
Yes.
And then after that, you would listen to some of these podcasts and to the news.
I listened to his kid's mother, and then I watched the podcast.
Okay, so those are some things that happened. Both.
Yes.
And then once you started to have this different information you were gathering, then you kind of started to look into it for yourself.
Yes.
Do some of your own investigation.
Yes.
And then at one point following that, that's when you decided to go back to the shop
Yes.
to speak to Cordell
Yes.
and to discuss some of these things you've been learning with him.
Yes.
You and Jarvis are not particularly close.
I wouldn't say that we're really distant. I don't see him every day. I don't talk to him every day, but he's my brother.
Okay. He's your brother, but you don't have a very close relationship, or?
Come on, tell the truth.
He's my brother.
What that's supposed to mean? Yes or no? What, girl?
What about with his children? Are you close with his children?
Some of the ones that I know.
So he has 13 kids, right?
I have no idea.
Do you have an idea of around how many kids he has?
A lot.
Okay. Do some of them live with different mothers?
Yes.
And you don't spend time with all of them?
No.
So which ones do you know?
I don't want to say their names. They're minors.
Okay.
And I don't want to disclose their identity.
Could you just give like a number instead? How many do you know?
I'm counting.
I got over 30 kids. I got double that number, child.
About 8.
So when you say 8 that you know, does that mean 8 that you have like personal contact with?
I have.
Okay. When is the last time that you've seen any of them?
Mm-hmm. Think about it. Think about it.
About 2 months ago.
Were you and Jarvis raised by your grandmother?
For the most part.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
Oh, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Butts, you said that there was another reason, there was a different reason that you thought that it was Messiah that you had saw that day. When you were starting to compile, or when you talked to Shannon Harris, and then you got the podcast. Before that, you said there was other reasons why you had thought that was Messiah.
So, am I?
Yes.
can I
What?
speak for-
What is
okay,
that? Yes.
So, at the time, I didn't know. Once I realized that it was a possibility that I saw her, there were several reasons that led me to believe that it was a possibility I was there. And I didn't want to get into detail as far as what I knew before the podcast. But if you would like, I would explain to you why I thought these things.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Can we approach? Yes. We'll be right back. For the hallway. Tomorrow. We come back. Tomorrow. You need some water or something? Can you get some water from there? Can you give me some water?
Oh, yeah.
Please. Calm down. It's gonna be all right. No. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay.
You're right, Ro. Like nothing. Nothing at all.
You need to do some more?
No, just it.
Okay.
I got like 2 items.
Okay, we are back on the record. Ms. Butts, you are still under oath. Ms. Ripley, go right ahead.
Thank you. So, Ms. Butts, what's the sources of these reasons that you have? Are these things that you know from your personal knowledge? Are these things that you observe yourself?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Repeat that.
So these reasons that you were thinking of, what are the sources of them? Is it somebody told you something? Is it something that you saw yourself, you observed, or a coupling of that?
I would say a bit of both. Things that I was told and things that I heard.
Okay. Were there heard from Jarvis?
No,
Okay. Were these things that you had already known prior
prior to,
to thinking that that was Messiah that you saw?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things the sources that you have for these reasons? Are they like things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
These were things that I was told. I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking.
Ms. Ripley, you're referring to the question before we went into sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly Naziah Harris at the shop, correct?
Yes.
Does that help clarify
Okay.
the line of questioning?
Yes.
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations, or?
Well, these were things that I was told. And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that Naziah was the little girl that I saw that day.
Thank you. You said that when you were parked at Jarvis's shop, that it was getting dark out.
Yes.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really like paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck. And that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first.
Yes.
Okay. The judge.
Okay, Ms. Bussey, you're done testifying. The case regarding the trial, and the one thing I had highlighted in case is the quote, in this case, there was no physical evidence such as blood stains or a weapon leaking defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we don't have the same facts or circumstances. I do agree, this is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and even conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025, exactly 1 year, from the day Naziah Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on Naziah Harris and the community who failed her. And I am only presented with certain evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorneys know more than me, the family knows more than me. But from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love. I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life, no presence. To Cordell, AKA King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including Naziah, and his 9-year-old daughter going up to the shop to clean up his shop. The school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counselor was absent, after Naziah was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to someone and speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a 1-year thing. There are text messages at least from 2022. To her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, whose testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish Nazia's residence and the houses on Bedford and the regular routine to establish also that Nazia was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted Nazia. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that Nazia had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came into the house as she testified. And there was also a minor that testified that he did as well. Text messages that show between him and Nazia that he did in the basement, saying he was going to the shower, stealing her panties. He was always lurking around that house and asking for Janiyah and Zaniyah, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine and saying that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions. And how were there 2 women in that house who have birthed children themselves who did not notice that Nazia was pregnant, and I believe she was, and not having her period anymore? But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else to give them for her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that Nazia did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. Without a tear, without emotion, or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from Nazia going missing. She stated that she had friends help look for Nazia, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police. A grown woman who likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either. They were both able to go to sleep at night without hearing from Nazia or having any indication that she was coming home that night. And of course, the defendant, who I will get to in a minute. I don't know who else failed Nazia, but the community did. As far as the people establishing probable cause, I will focus on count 1, as it's been stated that there is no contention with counts 2 and 3. In count 3, I will amend based off of the motion and the testimony I heard that Nazia was 12 and not 13 at the time that Jarvis Butts had sexual intercourse with her. The prosecution is correct. You do not have to have a body to establish first-degree premeditated murder. It would have been a much shorter exam had her body been found, but this is where we are. In the last 365 days, no text messages. We all heard today and yesterday that she was very active and frequently texted. No social media for a year. We heard through testimony that she was also active on social media. No phone calls, which she was also able to do according to testimony. No physical sighting of her by anyone. She never came back to school. No one has seen her. Medical records dated from July 2014 to October 2023 indicated that she had no life-threatening medical issues that would lead to a natural cause of death. The black hoodie found in the area of 7 Muhlenberg with her DNA and blood on it. The holes in the hoodie consistent with some sort of struggle, violence, or weapon being used. And we know that there were no holes in that hoodie when she wore it to school. We saw a picture of her in a black hoodie on her last day that everyone saw her. I do believe her grandma testified truthfully about the sweatshirt that she had on and that was practically new. And the border agent who said that no evidence of animals would have destroyed the clothing or the shoes to possibly lead to animals tearing up that hoodie. The clear glasses found in the blue Nissan the day after she went missing, the behavior of the defendant when he snatched those glasses. They looked exactly like the glasses she had on in her last picture, according to the witness. The shoes that her brother described as the same shoes that were found also in the area of 7 Mile and Bird near the hoodie. While this is still probable cause, the evidence all points to Jarvis Butts. His locations, him being seen with her last, the abortion searches, the abrupt silence between the two of them in text messages, and the constant lies he told throughout the entire investigation. And they were proven to be lies with text messages and other testimony. We may never know what happened, but from what I heard today and over the last 4 or 5 days, it appears he intended to perform what he thought was a do-it-yourself abortion on Isaiah. It went south, and instead of seeking medical attention for her, he intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up. As much as I want her to be alive today, there is at least probable cause to show and believe that she's dead and that she was murdered by Jarvis Butts. Mr. Butts, stand up. You've been sitting over there for 4 days with your head down, sitting between and behind your attorneys with your mask on and taking vigorous notes. I want you to pay attention and listen to everything I have to say. I have been trying to figure out for the last 5 days, you. At one point, I thought you were cognitively impaired in the beginning of this exam. And then maybe you had the brain of a 10-year-old, and that's why you were doing such things. But as I heard more and more testimony, you're just the true definition of a pedophile. Watching you laugh and brag about all the women you have with different women and the children and the girlfriends, and making babies to groom them and having them in your presence, cleaning up your shop, and the little girls around you, has landed you here today. You groomed Isaiah. You played mind games with her. We all heard that. You controlled her emotionally. She was exposed to so much at such a young age. The text messages between you two were disgusting to hear. And to think that she had you saved in her phone as bae for life. Isaiah deserved so much more. And while I mentioned other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you are the monster in this whole picture. She did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. Your children deserve more. As much as defense counsel has raised issues on count 1, all that has done is raise the question of fact for the trial fact, which means that this will be for a jury or a judge to hear in Third Circuit. I pray for the healing of all the victims and the young girls and possibly boys who have come into contact with you. As a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do when it comes to protecting our children and especially our Black girls. I pray for closure and healing for all those who have been traumatized by you. And for you, Jarvis Butts, I wish you a speedy trial and that justice be delivered. Your bind over date is January 16th at 9:00 a.m.
Period. 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 Woo, she said a word, honey. She said a whole word. But I didn't get a chance to see Shannon's testify either. So we about to go through Shannon's, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. And I got another case I want to do some research on, y'all, that I'm hopefully y'all can be able to bring it to y'all tomorrow, depending on how much information is put out there. I'm about to let's get ready and look at this Shannon girl.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Watch your step, please. Have a seat.
You want to speak into this mic, you also pick it up and hold it in your lap.
Whenever you're ready, Ms. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
But my mom resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
You think I killed Gary?
Did you? I'll choose violence every day.
The investigation begins.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green, blue, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is in that. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all called her Tudda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes,
And did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come and see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come, pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
Exactly, Ro. Exactly.
Would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship.
No.
Would there ever be times where, where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know Neziah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Neziah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Neziah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Neziah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my my fourth oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Nizaya?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Okay, first day, PV and J. Drop off.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16 and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
You're in a man approach?
Yes.
I'm going to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, was the 26th?
August 26th.
No, these aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Buds ever tell you that Desire texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No,
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Messiah on January 9th, 2024?
yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him, he didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda and whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back, oh wow.
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part, I had, I texted him. Well, first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time, I sent him a message. Still no Tuda. He replied back, oh, wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing here what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number,
Okay, and who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no Tuda.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Messiah still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just admit the exhibit.
I
You have an
can.
issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Okay.
Do these fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, that'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Neziah for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her to?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was, Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is, to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is, I don't know what to say. What Tada is on. Says this shit doesn't sit right with me. Call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says, this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it. And don't call me. No need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where were these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Neziah's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
Hearsay. Without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay.
the tablet.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Sustain as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside Tilla's tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butts' Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Neziah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm gonna object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said you saw 2 messages.
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything else?
It was 2 sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. It wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him
Who's
and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? So there's 2 particular messages that states out in this picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox, you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
Okay. One second. So, Shannon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes,
Okay. And did you see Naziah that day?
my senior did, that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And Your Honor, may I approach people's already admitted exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes,
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Naziah's.
Okay. Now,
Wait, y'all. Didn't the grandma was just up there and she said that she had on some jeans. She didn't say she had on the school uniform. So which one is it? Because it's either she had the uniform on or she had on a regular outfit when she left home. Because grandma said she had basically like on a regular outfit. Now Shannon said she had her uniform on with the cartoon character coat.
after you were when you saw Naziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Naziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6. And the days that she don't, it's at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Naziah had the after-school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Naziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you, yes, when Naziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel?
Look at the judge face. Look at the judge face. Because now one time that she even called her mama said, Shannon mama said that she didn't get there until about 6 something. So from the time frame that you realized that this girl did not come up in the house at 3 o'clock, Shannon, why didn't you call your mama and let your mama know that she wasn't there then? Your mama said that she didn't realize that she was there until she got there. So she decided to leave right back out and went up to the school. What did you go to the school at 6 something for? Like, okay, whatever. But anyway, and that's when she's supposed to be sitting up here, had went out to drive around and go look for her. That's 3 whole hours. You ain't contact your mama and let your mama know that this girl is missing, that she didn't come home from school.
Feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection. Sounds like hearsay.
What's that? You have a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
It's just a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was
finish
the,
what you're
what was the question?
the 2 children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Naziah come home?
the hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Neziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car. I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me. Mom said, "Did Neziah come home?" I said, "No."
And was Neziah home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Neziah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Neziah, heard from Neziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call the police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Okay. Just one second. Shannon, did you know Neziah to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
Okay. And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it yourself.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay, did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Neziah?
Yes. We went out, I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
Okay. And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Neziah?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Neziah?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Crest Inn.
Or the SharePoint.
There's more than one.
Multiples, yes.
Okay. But one of them was the Park Crest. Said yes.
Correct.
And it's in Harper Woods
Correct.
on Harper.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do?
Mm,
I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls
yes,
and 3 are boys.
correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids.
Correct.
And then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Neziah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house. in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day.
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Neziah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question. By the other kids had asked, did I have Neziah came home yet, or have I seen him? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home.
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the police that night.
No,
Did she ever not return home previously?
no, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes,
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
yes,
But the heifer said that she ran away off. She a liar, bro. She is a straight liar, bro. For real.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
correct,
And you identified those shoes as being Neziah's shoe. Is that correct?
correct,
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Neziah is wearing, correct?
correct, correct,
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes, her-
shoe came from Neziah, is that fair to say?
correct.
And I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Liar.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Neziah ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind, yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No,
her on your phone?
no.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he said, why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. Then I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
Get 2 classic chicken sandwiches starting at $4. We got you. Churches.
Those with Robinhood Gold can enjoy a 3% IRA match. Tremendous.
And until you looked in Neziah's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned?
No,
between Desire and Mr. Butts?
No.
And Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids. He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
Like he, depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot, for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you live there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times,
Look at the judge face. But the mom, the grandma said that he never was around the kids like that. That they were only, when he come around, they would go out to his truck or whatever and they'll talk to him up in his truck. Child. Look, y'all see the judge face. She know it's some bullshit.
he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically, or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Okay. Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
Okay. So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Messiah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he had been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other person in the house alone?
No.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will, what you said.
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No, it will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Messiah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No.
You never noticed anything between Messiah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
No.
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
You're a liar.
Not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Messiah.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women,
Correct.
pretty consistently with other women,
Correct.
more than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
I'll choose violence every day.
The investigation begins.
My friends are incapable of murder. They're my family.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfort,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Belfort and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, you know exactly where Belford and Outer Drive at. I said, Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at. And I said, you know where Belford at. And she was like, I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up. So I said, you already know Belford is before Bedford. So she said, okay. She said, because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings. So I said, okay. But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis, Outer Drive and Belford. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on an address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Nasiah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because your ass got something to do with it. Of course, you wouldn't know.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
His female's vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Nasiah for, you said from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Wait a minute, hold on. So I wonder who did their testimony first, the grandmama or Shannon? Because it's like either way it go, the grandma is saying the total opposite of Shannon. Grandma saying that this man he ain't spent no time with her like that. Shannon just said she's around him, or he been around her many a time, several times.
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Nasiah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same old Nasiah. Nothing is different.
Nasiah has a brother, right?
Yes.
Is it an older brother?
Yes.
Now, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
That's irrelevant.
How was it relevant? If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Okay. Overall.
So she did have a brother that ran away.
Correct.
And was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Nasiah?
Yes.
She did. Did Nasiah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Oh my goodness.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
Y'all didn't care. Shit. That's why y'all didn't care.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes.
Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Fox?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female friends.
Yes.
And even some that you didn't know about.
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Oh my, Miss Lynn. So you say the grandmother testimony was before Shannon's? And Shannon got right up here and basically been saying the whole opposite of what what her mama came up there saying. That's crazy. That is crazy. Just wait till this trial starts, y'all. They gonna catch them up and bring up all them lies, baby. They gonna bring up all them lies. Wait till this trial starts. This is gonna be really interesting. That's insane. That is crazy.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he would use, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asking questions about Outer Drive and Balfour. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he, to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing further, Rich.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch your step. Thanks, ma'am.
Get matched today with the tax expert who's just right for your situation. They'll do your taxes from start to finish, and you can work with the same expert year after year with TurboTax Live Full Service. Hand off your taxes today.
Are you looking to slim out your waist? Then you need
Okay, here we go. Hell yeah, that damn cameraman be zooming in on them expressions because they looking like, oh no. They hearing the lies. Old girl that was sitting in front of the judge, she was sitting up there with her head down like, Lord have mercy. I just cannot believe what I'm hearing. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. Man, I know it. Man, I cannot wait till this trial starts. I mean, she clearly went up there saying the whole opposite of what the grandmother went up there saying. That is insane. They can't say somebody made an ass up out of them because they made an ass out their damn self. That's why I believe they really gonna end up cracking this case. And I really believe that what you were saying, Ro, he probably tried to sit up here and get him a deal. You know, he probably will in exchange for his, a testimony going towards Shannon. Because she definitely played a major, major part. So let me see, y'all. Because remember I had told y'all that other little part that the father had came in and he just got the going off on the on one content creator that he had went in for the interview with. He had called in and started going off like really completely getting up in his feelings and stuff, and kept talking about what he did and stuff like that, So I pulled that video up and I got the timestamp on that. Whew. I just got done eating, so I'm on some festive. I'm really on some big bag stuff right now. But anyway, yeah, I'm about to pull that little part up. And then after that, I'm going to be done, y'all. I can't believe I've been on here 3 hours. But then again, I can't because I played a lot of videos. Bro said in exchange for a lighter sentence, because he probably looking at life since Detroit doesn't have the death penalty. Girl, they just can't wait to rule. She cannot wait to rule. But when the turn of events come, that's going to be something. I would just be happy once they get her butt in custody. And I hope they charge that grandma. I hope they charge both for her and the grandma with neglect as well. For real. All right, let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope they get charged. Both of them. I really hope it come out. So this was a call in. They had did a little call. He do his little call in time on his lives and stuff. So it was a lady that had called in and she had voiced her opinion, about how she felt about the whatever it is that they were discussing at the time. But it basically was about the case. And the father got annoyed, I guess, and he was just, irritated by what the last caller had called in and what she was saying. So he called in with a whole attitude and everything, child. And then one of the spokesperson that's sitting down right here, she ended up snapping and going off on the father. Well, not really going off on him because she still had respect, but she ended up sharing how she felt about the whole situation. Because the father ended up hanging up on them. He just clicked. Was very disrespectful, but here we go, y'all. Y'all can see for yourself.
A background in law enforcement, so I do have a few things to touch on. The first thing is the police. One thing about DPD, once it's broadcast and once it's known that there is a child missing, that chief that's in office right now, he takes that very serious. They are looking for her. The police don't have time to call everybody and let everybody know what's going on if they're building a case. DPD is looking for that child. Another thing I'm going to say is, what's very disappointing is, unfortunately, it's a lot of people that are tuning in right now who protect pedophiles that are in their family, who protected their husband. If a cousin said, "Oh, your husband touched me," the wife want to kick the kid out and all this and that. But my mother did it to me, so I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so you can't put everything on the police. The police is our cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
just as human as we are.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have to protect our children in our home. If your child comes to you and say, somebody did such and such, they done touch me here, they done touch me there, don't just say that they're lying. Investigate it. Don't brush it under the rug. Quit having uncomfortable Thanksgivings and Christmases. And then when things like this happen, We're blaming it on DPD. We're blaming it on DPS. Well, y'all been knowing Uncle Tyrone been touching kids since the 80s. Y'all been knowing that.
You know what?
Y'all been leaving y'all kids around Uncle Tyrone.
The core of my blame is not actually DPD.
That's what I was getting ready to say too.
The core of my blame is the family and CPS. You said CPS, right? Now, yes, I am blaming. Now, I know, and trust me, in the 17 years that I've been doing independent media, I completely understand how overwhelmed DPD is.
Absolutely.
With all of the. I'm overwhelmed. Like, I've gotten at least 15 missing people in my inbox since the last week that I've been covering this, right? And I just happened to went out and found one last night.
Yeah.
Right? The girl that was missing from Cross, found her. So I understand how DPD, so I don't blame, I understand their frustration with a situation like this.
Absolutely. Yes,
Right?
they're understaffed and
then I'm gonna let you in on another tidbit. Tell y'all family members to stop wasting the police time calling them for nonsense, calling them because your uncle owe you 2 cents, so that when they do get a call that somebody is missing, they can service that family better. DPD is the lowest paid police entity in America. They get so many calls, you wouldn't even believe what people call the police for.
I can imagine.
Okay, you won't even believe. And again, you are speaking to I've been on the force. I know what people call DPD for. Pure foolishness. People only want to take stuff serious when it's on Instagram, when it's on Facebook. That's the only time people want to chime in.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
And that's, I guess, part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we felt like, or it looked like, the momentum in this case was dwindling down.
Okay.
Right? And the fact that if we put pressure on social media, it'll reactivate the momentum in the case, basically. And that's what we felt like we were.
And lastly, just a last, because I can go on and on. I'm not gonna keep y'all because I do want to keep reading the comments. Let us have these same energy when our cousins are getting murdered and you don't want to tell that your baby daddy did it. Let's have the same energy when you see somebody doing wrong and you don't say nothing. Let's have that same energy. People don't want to snitch. They don't want to say, please, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Don't do a crime around me because I'm a snitch. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Call me a snitch, bitch, whatever you want to call me. I'm telling. Okay? Let us go back to start telling on stuff instead of trying to keep stuff under the rug and then just expect because people have badges or because they have a certain title that they work for 9 to 5 that they supposed to be just superheroes and just make everything just better. And again, and another thing, stop letting y'all kids spend the night at random people's house just to go down the floods or just to go to the titty bar and stuff. Keep y'all kids at home. Check on your children. And lastly, it's my spirit done hit me. If there's any fathers that are, and I'm gonna tell you about that father, he had the audacity to talk about how he's sick and his baby is missing. Motherfucker, please. You hear me? Please. That ain't no fucking excuse. Who cares about how you feeling and you had all these certain nigga, you failed her. I could tell that he wasn't a father when he first talked about himself. He spent Mark. I watched it. He spent so much time talking about himself, baby. I didn't even know what he was on the phone for. I didn't even know what he called in for. He started talking about himself. Nigga, you failed her. You failed her. And that's how these niggas do that be having these kids and they marry. They fail that other kid that they had outside that marriage.
Well, okay. I mean, if you know the story, right? I don't know if you heard that first episode of explaining, or in the beginning when he was explaining it, we came to the conclusion of him basically having a one-night stand with Nazia's mom while he was married, and he getting her pregnant, and his wife finding out about it later, right? So he really had no care or attachment to the whole situation in the first place, and that's not to say, you know what I mean, that validates his actions in the situation. By a long shot, am I not saying that? But you know, he didn't care from the jump. So, you know, and again, that was my whole point of the whole first couple of episodes, is just letting them talk. I wasn't going to correct them or try to check them about nothing. I'm letting them just get it out. So that the climate of the personality
he's a true. he's a true clown. Cause can't no like, and I just was telling my best friend this earlier. Cause I'm in the same situation. My oldest is by an idiot, but I chose to lay down with him, and I knew what I was getting out of it. Okay, we were not married, so a lot of things are gonna come when you are not married and you have kids out of wedlock. Men don't be blessed when they don't take care of their children.
I said that.
Women are not blessed when they are not taking care of their children. So it is not shocking to me that his health has declined because you have not been a father to your child. Okay? You think you're gonna walk around here with good health and ain't nothing gonna happen to you and the Most High not gonna what? That's why you sick, and I hope you continue to reap what you have put out into this universe for that baby. That's my wishes for you. And I hope he listening because he was a true clown. Okay? You talking, he on the air with a whole bunch of mothers, fathers, grandmas, uncles, coaches, or whatever that come out here every day, and we make it happen for our children, for our village that we are growing. And you telling us about how you was in the hospital. Boy, bad. You hear me? And your wife should be automatically ashamed of you too. She should be ready to divorce you because you are a weak man. Now, I don't know all the other details, Mark, because I be busy, honey. I got 3 kids over here. So I didn't hear all the details of the story, but I chimed in today because I was doing my laundry, and I just had to give my spiel. Protect y'all children.
I'm so glad that you did. You know what I mean? And mainly about the perspective from DPD, right? Because we don't want DPD, because we know they watch it, to feel like we are blaming them.
And no bashing of the police in our commentary at all, because we have no idea what they deal with.
What I explained,
I know personally, like I said, the chief that they have now and the chief before, he takes this very serious. That man ain't on the news because he bored. That man is overworked. The DPD is overworked entirely. But if people stop calling the police about their cousin took their garbage can and they want their garbage can back and the police on the scene for an hour, then they'll have time to handle other stuff. Quit calling the police about nonsense, but then y'all say y'all want to defund the police. Which one is it? Which one you want to do? Because I want to keep the police. I want them. I'm done. I'll holler back, Mark. I'll call you tomorrow.
We appreciate your call, sister. Man,
all right, bye.
Yeah. All right, let me open these call-in lines back up because
Hold on, before you open the call line, hold on, y'all. Hold your mute. Because I wanted to hear what Sheeta was saying.
Oh, yeah. About Shannon. That she did not protect.
Here it come, y'all. The father about to get ready and call in. Zanaya father, why I keep calling her Zanaya? Nazaya's father about to call in regards to that last caller. Child, this is gonna be his response.
Nazaya, and I don't know if you didn't know how or didn't know where to start.
Now Nazaya's dad is calling my phone.
Oh shit!
He has to call in now. Let me see what he. Bro, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's happening?
Hey, you know I've been out there looking for that baby, man. Hey, you know I've been out there looking for that baby. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're supposed to call the call-in line, bro. You called my phone, bro.
That baby. Okay, so what you want me to do?
You got to call the phone line that we was the phone line 313-7.
I'm about to call right now.
Yeah.
This thing got real spicy.
Not
Okay, so
that
I'm
baby.
just gonna say what I have to say regarding Shannon, because I'm an aunt and I'm a woman and I'm for the community, but I'll save, and I hope she's listening, and I hope that you take in what I have to say respectfully.
What's happening, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I want to just keep this about my daughter, but you got these old hurt women out here that don't understand nothing. You see what I'm saying? For one, me and my wife was together. We wasn't married, and they don't know if we was. They don't know the situation, and so the clown don't know that I was paying child support. The mother got into some trouble with the grandmother. We signed over the rights to the grandmother. We signed the rights over to the grandmother so she could take care of Naziah. I was going over there. Her family know I was going over there. I was taking money. I was doing everything. And I put myself on child support. I had a heart problem, lost contact. I was in the hospital recently for my heart. That's how the police contacted me again. That's how I got back in and found out where they were. And since I got out, I've been out day and night, flyers and everything.
You have?
So these clowns, yeah, you know I've been out there, bro. And it's upsetting me because I'm trying to keep this focus on finding my baby. And so they can't tell me what I have and what I ain't been doing with their old rusty self. I can't stand when people do that stuff when you're trying to be honest. I can't stand it, man. That old foul ass mouth. She don't know what she talking about.
I'm sorry. Let me. I'm gonna say this because I think what you're getting back is the frustration and the anger from the community because they're wondering where you were. And I do believe that I believe in forgiveness, but this too also in the eye of God as well, because Naziah comes from you. You're facing those demons, and it's not for us to judge you. It's not, because that's between you and God. But what you're getting back is from the community, because when you don't step up as a father, sir, then the community has to. And
well, what I'm saying, y'all keep saying I didn't step up. I was there. I was never not there. Only time I wasn't there because her grandmother kept popping her butt around because she on some other stuff. I couldn't find her. She went missing. Other than that, I was over there.
Who went missing?
I was over there.
Who went missing?
The grandmother was going MIA. Man, she jumped around for so many houses over there on the east side. I'm telling you, she was moving around. Ask her family. Ask her family.
This is her family.
It wasn't easy keeping up with them.
This is her family. This is Roxy. This is her family.
Right.
I know who Roxy. I seen Roxy, but I was on the phone with the auntie and Annette's sister. They know what's going on. They was with Chantel. I don't even know who Roxy is. No disrespect. It's a lot of their family members I don't know. And that's fine. You know what? That's fine. Yeah.
Well,
and the only reason I answer any questions at first, because people, y'all, even Mark, you said people want to know who you are. I'm gonna ask you these few questions, and then we're gonna talk about your daughter. I said, fine, man. I ain't got nothing to hide. And now it's just like, oh, he's a deadbeat dead. Y'all, I was never, you keep on saying all this stuff. I was never a deadbeat dead.
Well, Mark didn't say that, love. Mark never
Nobody
called
said
you.
was a deadbeat.
Mark, listen,
I'm not saying he said I was I'm not saying he said I was a deadbeat dead.
But the people
Mark gave me an opportunity to speak.
He did.
And he said they wanted to know who I was. And I said, I don't have anything to hide. I will answer the question.
And we thank you for that. Thank you for your honesty and your transparency. And it's not to beat up on you again. This is just emotion from the community. Because I know you said that you were there and then you paid child support, but child support doesn't make up for the presence.
For the time being over there, I was over there. What part of people ain't listen? I was over there. I was going over there. I went over there.
How much were you over there?
I was over there. I went and seen my baby.
To go drop off money over there, to go drop off
more money, clothes, whatever, bikes, whatever it was. I was helping Annette needed, like I would go over there, something wrong on the house. I might fix this while I was over there. She had so many houses she was at.
Okay, so
she
what
might have needed some money.
Time did you actually spend with you and your daughter one-on-one? What was that time like?
Roxy, get off the phone, man. I'm not even talking to you. You know what? Because you irritate me. I don't even know you.
Okay.
You asking me questions.
Okay.
That's what they talking about though, the quality time.
No, I'm just tired of trying to pull my teeth, and I already told y'all. The lady was even squatting in some homes. I went over there and helped fix up. Talk to her other family members, the ones that we know that was there, the ones that did the interview.
Just trying to get clarity. I'm not trying to, if it seems like I'm trying to put you
The
on
ones that did the interviews, there's other people that know. There's other people that know me that I've been over there. I helped them move. I've always helped that family out.
So
always.
I guess back to one of the questions that I asked you. Original call, so when you was over there, how much did you know about what was going on over there, as far as, I guess I want to say the abuse or?
It was never nothing like that. She was a God-fearing woman. She didn't have the adoption of all the kids. She didn't have that. It was just my daughter.
Never seen a chain on the refrigerator or nothing? Like you ain't never been in the house?
It was nothing like that. No chains on the refrigerator, none of that. It was all this stuff is just new to me when I got out the hospital this time. None of that revealed. None of that.
Well, before Naziah came up missing, when was the last time that you saw her?
When I got my operation back, I had my operation years ago. All right. I couldn't walk after the operation. I had to go to rehab. Mm-hmm. There was no communication. When I got out of rehab, it was no phone, no nothing. When I got out of rehab, I went back on, I believe they stayed on Corville. I went on Corville, it was nobody there. Mm. Nobody know where they moved to. People don't, that's one thing about these phones that make you lazy to where you don't write nothing down. You see, I didn't have any other numbers. I couldn't get in contact with anybody. So I think like 4 or 5 years might have passed until now.
Okay. So it was some time since your hospitalization since the last time you saw her. So maybe probably Correct. 6 months, 8 months.
Since I seen her?
Yes.
No. It was about 4 or 5 years since I've seen her.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies. 4 or 5 years. Okay. And you didn't know at all where she lived at, or you didn't have a contact for Miss Annette during that time?
No, I didn't. No.
Wow.
Well, it still was so damn funny.
Somebody there.
Well, I'm gonna say I apologize if this has rubbed you the wrong way, and that's
no, you ain't. You know what? You ain't got to even apologize.
This is the thing about the opinions of the public, and we cannot control them. And I do believe that everybody has a right to feel how they feel. This is a very emotional driven situation, an emotional case. And like I said before, I do believe in forgiveness. I'm a God-fearing person. And if God can forgive, then we should be able to forgive. And I understand that you had this, I'm sure, conversation with God. Mm-hmm. But this is just now getting out.
Right, but you keep on saying forgive. I don't care if anybody forgives me. I just want to tell a story. I could go on with my life because I know what's going on. I don't have to sit on no damn panel.
Right, and
I ain't got to keep on doing all that. I ain't got to go back and forth.
Right, but I think you.
I ain't worried about nobody at all. If anybody knows me, they know I ain't worried.
Then I have to ask you, sir.
I just want to find my baby.
Right,
That's
but
it.
if you're not worried, then why did you call in? Why
I just told you why.
Right,
because these people don't know. Because people don't know.
But
She running her
do you care,
bubblegum mouth. She don't know.
do you
And
care?
see, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm asking, do
You
care,
bringing up
sir?
questions like this is Ricky Lake or something.
It's not, but I'm
telling
asking
you exactly what it is.
But I'm asking you, do you care, sir? What other people think? Do you really care? That's all I'm trying to tell you. Why does it
I
matter? what
said about
everybody
your
else think?
forgiveness. I said
It's not
about
for-
your
it's not for-
forgiveness.
but it's not for me.
You
to
keep
forgive.
on
That's-
telling me you can forgive. I don't. You're not God. I don't care if you can forgive or not.
Okay, but what I'm telling you,
I don't care.
This is what
But
I
you
think you're
wasting time telling me about what you can forgive. I don't care about you forgiving.
Okay, no. I just want to say
I
this.
just want to
think-
find my daughter.
and I understand, but I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is not just to you, but for the. Did he hang up? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
Right.
There you have it.
Someone said that we're misinterpreting his words. Someone in the comments said that we're misinterpreting his words. I don't know what was Ryan Renee said, why are y'all twisting his words? I'm not sure what was twisted because y'all heard the same thing we heard. But I think
But what I
yes,
was trying to say is because I saw a lot of judgmental comments. Yes, we know from what he told us in the first interview that he did miss. He signed his rights over. He did say that. He agreed for Neziah to go with her grandmother. He openly said that.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, you don't have to explain to us for forgiveness. That's between you and God. And I believe God forgave you for that. I 100% believe that. And you can start a new life and start now by advocating for your daughter. Start acknowledging your daughter for the decisions that you made. That's what I was trying to tell not only him, but the comments. Look, you guys, like, God forgive us. We all, just because our sin look different don't mean it ain't considered sin.
I think he might have been misinterpreting your words.
That's what I was trying to tell him. Like, and I'm not trying to.
If anybody likes,
you feel me? That's why I'm like, it's not even for us to judge. It took a lot of courage for him to get on this podcast to say, "Look, I failed my daughter."
Exactly.
And I criticized him right while he was on the phone the first time, and then I also told him, right, you were her dad, right, and at the same time that you did what you did in regards.
But that kind of behavior. That kind of behavior, the talking over, the defensiveness, it still tells me you still living in that because you know you were wrong. And until you acknowledge that you were wrong, because you're hiding behind that, you're still angry at yourself. You don't have to take it out on me or nobody else in these comments. You're mad with yourself because of the decision that you made.
He called in.
And now I'm getting criticized.
And that's why I said, if you really didn't care about what people had to say, then why did you call in?
Yeah.
Why did she ruffle your feathers that made you call Mark's personal line?
Like a peacock.
Because you're still angry with yourself. It doesn't matter what the public say. You're mad at yourself, and I can understand why. And you hung up. Further proves to me you ain't over what you did. You got to live with that. You have to live with your child being in the position that she was in because you were not there, not like you thought you were there. You can spend money. You can buy clothes. Right. You can buy shoes. Right. But that doesn't make you a damn father.
Money don't raise no kids.
Where were you emotionally? And that's what I was trying to get to you, sir. Because kids are more than money.
Right.
They're more than shoes. They require time. They require nurturing. They require love. Where was that?
Guidance.
Can you imagine how she felt? Why does my mother and father don't want me? Why is my father not there? Why did you turn over your rights?
Right.
Why did you let me go?
And if you brought up the fact that she was squatting and you knew she was squatting,
you still didn't come get your damn child.
Daughter.
Still didn't come get your child.
Right.
Still didn't come see about her. I'm not losing contact with my child. 5 years.
Hospital
I'm not letting it. Exactly. I'm not letting it fly.
Yep.
But this is accountability. This is what the community do. So when the community hold one of our other people accountable, that's what we do. We hang up.
Right.
We hang up. Like I said, sir, God forgive you. It don't matter what nobody else thinks. It doesn't matter what I think. It don't matter what these people in these comments think. I just hope that you do better and do right in this time by looking for her. And if she shall come up and she's back in health and she's found, I hope that you make it right and that you take what we're saying to you, not as a defense, but to say, hey, brother, hug your child. Right. Tell her you love her. Tell her you sorry, because this sorry is too late. She needed to hear it while she can hear it. Yep. She needed to hear it.
And if she listening right now, she damn sure didn't need to hear that.
Somebody said we spending too much time on him. Nope, this is all a part of the discussion, sweetheart. It's all a part of the discussion. We not skipping over nothing. Everything gets talked about. Everything. And accountability, it's uncomfortable. But
Very much so.
But you don't grow when you're comfortable. And we have to start holding each other accountable. We have to.
And maybe that was a conversation you probably should have had with Mark instead of letting the world know. You should have probably had that conversation with Mark privately, because you already know how the public gonna feel. You really thought the community was about to embrace you when they heard you signed over your rights
and was living your best life.
You really thought that they were going to embrace you? No, they like, you about to get this knuckle on the chin, sir. Because where was your antennas?
Right.
Where was your antennas?
And how was it not unsettling to you that you couldn't get in contact with your daughter? Did you even try and find her? Did you even go look for her? Or you just said, "Oh, they gone." So
you think about it. 4 or 5 years. She been gone for 2 months, and it's bothering you. She been gone for 2 months, but 4 or 5 years.
Phone line back open, y'all. Go ahead.
Call. Yep.
I'm sorry, he got me out of my element.
All right. They rolling in, man. What's happening, caller? Who is this? Where you calling from?
It's just my lucky night. This is Carmen again.
Okay.
Carmen back.
What's happening, Carmen?
Carmen, you done ruffled his feathers.
I'm gonna keep it real classy, but I'm gonna keep it very logical. Okay. Detroit is not the biggest city. I think that they have about 9 precincts. Let's say if you were looking for your daughter, she didn't return home from school, you can go to any precinct and they would have started a missing persons report. They would have started that 5 years ago. He said that he didn't know where his daughter was. They move around, hippy hoppy do. Yeah, they do sometimes. But you could have contacted the police then. You know what I'm saying? You went through Christmases, you went through birthdays, Easters, Thanksgivings, and didn't see your baby. Nobody in your family was like, "Hey, bruh, where I can't pronounce her name. It's clear. Where Nazaya at? Where my pookie butt at?" Nobody said nothing. What did you say? What was your excuse? Oh, they just move around. I don't know where she at. Please. I just give it raw because guess what? I have 3 children over here. You just heard one in the background. I got one on my hip and the other one asleep. I can't even get 5 seconds alone, let alone 5 years. But that is the norm in our community. That's the norm. People go years without a lot of fathers and mothers doing. She should have been on the news 5 years ago when he didn't know where she was at. You see what happened? Now everybody's CPS and everybody's trying to gather all the paperwork. She should have been on the news 5 years ago. Period. And let the grandma call and say, you know what? Let the grandma call and say, hey, look, she over here. This is our address. She on Barlow, whatever. It shouldn't have took 5 years. You're not getting no empathy from me. No, you're not. You're not. And guess what? You failed, and it I won't say that it's okay, but you got to acknowledge that. You trying to argue and be defensive? You should never even call. That was silly. I was waiting on him to get off the phone. You can't. You just can't do that. We're not getting away from the fact of this child has been missing. I'm just floored. Do you hear me? Floored. She been missing, and you don't know where your baby at. You don't even know what school she go to. Who's her teacher? What's her locker number? Do they wear uniforms? You don't know nothing. Get out of here. And that's it, Mark. I'm done now for real. I'll call you tomorrow.
So now he hung up to text me though.
Yeah, but this is a trend
I can't read your text messages, bro, because you replying to what people say.
And he said that I think he mentioned that I was miserable or bitter. Think of another adjective to describe a mother. Think of another adjective. Describe me as powerful, boisterous, concerned about your children. I'm concerned about your daughter. Right. I'm not bitter. Bitter for what? I'm disappointed. I'm angered. It's freaking cold outside right now. We don't know where this girl is. Mm-hmm. It was cold early January. We don't know where this girl is. Ain't nobody bitter. Get out of here. Think of another adjective to say. I'm tired of hearing that bitter, weird. All that. Think of something else to describe me. Because I'm concerned and I'm upset.
Good job. Oh yeah. Yeah, Miss Lynn, that was I think that was the last call that the father had made after he did that interview with him with old boy. This was another episode that a different episode from that interview. And he had called in response to another caller that was voicing her opinion, about how she felt about the situation. So it was just like this big thing with that. I wanted to get y'all opinion about it. I already got a raw opinion about it, which I agree with some. Yeah, he passed away. I think it was last summer. Yep. Last summer, I believe. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was in either June or July or something like that. Yeah, but that video was done. And when he did his interview with them, that video was done 2 months after, 2 months into them looking for her. So he was able to dedicate 2 months of, in the search party, looking for his daughter, him and his wife. Ooh, child, it's a lot, child. Like, I don't know. I kind of see both ways. I understand where Ro Baby was coming from with it. I mean, because he did hand over his rights, his parental rights. Most people that hand their parental rights over, they're completely gone, period. Like, you don't see them folks again. It is just what it is, It ain't no more contact. He didn't have to contact. He made that choice to not be there at all. If that's what he chose to do, that's what he chose to do. That comes along with turning over your rights. In another aspect, if you decide to put yourself on child support and you decide to still be supportive of that child and still kind of, play the father role, you can't play the father role. You gonna it's either you're gonna do it or you're not. Ain't no halfway through it or none of that. So I believe that that's what the controversy, the conversation where it really kind of boiled down to me. Miss Lynn say, my opinion is he hid that child from his wife. That's why he's sending his rights away. Absolutely, I agree with that. But I believe that he would not have hid his child from his wife from the get-go, then maybe things could have been, maybe have turned out a little bit differently. It probably was a possibility that she probably would have left him, but, they probably could have worked through that situation, and had he would have been communicating with her, he probably would have been, she probably would have had the opportunity, the wife would have had the opportunity to probably get to know his daughter or whatever, and then probably would have helped him even make better decisions as a father too. So he kind of screwed that up. I believe. Miss Lynn say he cheated on his wife. He knew her mother. He knew her mother was on drugs. Yep. He admit he made a lot of bad decisions and stuff, but you stand over your rights. It's when you stand over your rights. But then you turn around and you put yourself on child support, and you was buying, other, little things as far as he said, bikes, clothes, and stuff like that, and was dropping stuff off. But one thing I did not hear him say anything about him actually having quality time with her. Going out doing father and daughter things, so it's almost like I can understand why Naziah would have probably felt, that loneliness, because now she knows who her father is. At some point, he was up in her life and he was bringing her this, bringing her that, so it's just like, yeah, why did my father or my mother want me? If he signed over, I feel like if he signed over his rights, he should have just let that be. Though, if you didn't want to be in her life, you didn't want to take on that father role, it's just that simple. Stay away. Don't take the father role. Period. It's just that simple. But you did that, and then you still wanted to play the father role. So if you choose to play the father role, then you can't do that shit halfway. You got to be all the way. And that's what I feel like that really brings the confusion on with that. It's either you was going to be there or you not. It's just that simple. And he turned that baby over to a woman that was abusing kids, and he knew it. Yeah. He say he didn't know, but it was if he was going to play that father role like that, and he genuinely cared about what, how the grandma was and what was going on, I don't think that he actually would have, allowed it. I think he probably would have took his daughter along with him if he actually knew what was going on, but he still turned a blind eye. He still turned the blind eye because he's seen a lot of things. He's seen some things and he heard some things and that he did not agree with, but he still just turned the blind eye on it. But at the same time, if you think about it, he wouldn't have known none of this stuff if he wasn't in her life at all. He wouldn't have known none of it. Like, he clearly could have just had kept his rights, and still did exactly what he was doing. If you was going to take care of her, what you turning over your rights over for? I get it as far as with the benefits and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a lot with that, child. Well, baby say, stand over your rights. You are no longer responsible for that child. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's still like, he chose to take on that responsibility. At the end of the day, he still chose to take on the responsibility after signing over his rights. I just feel like if he was gonna sign over his rights, then don't take no type of responsibility. You turned your responsibilities over, but he decided to, put himself on child support and do other things, in supportive of his child. And then now it's like, no, which one you gonna do? Which one you gonna do? Because you can't halfway be there. It's either you're gonna be there or you're not. Rose said, yeah, I agree. Sign over your rights and stay the F away. Yeah, like real talk. And that's where the confusion come in at. Because he keeps saying, I was there. But you can't just be there when you want to be there. It's either you gonna be there, you gotta be there all the way. Or not be there at all. Ms. Lynn saying, right, stay away, don't do nothing. Rose say, this is my own personal opinion. Either way, they all failed, baby girl, in some form. Yes, they did. And that's one thing for sure. That's a fact right there. At the end of the day, they all failed her. Miss Lynn say, Mel, he knew because Naziah's mother told him the things that was going on in her life. he knew she had another child by her mother's husband. I'm pretty sure, and that's why I'm saying he kept trying to, like, he was like telling but not telling. He was giving little clues and hints, but then he's not following up with what it really is. He want to tell people what he want them to know. He wanted to tell people what he wanted them to know. Ro Baby said he's guilty. His guilty conscience had him want to still be around. Yep. And from that point on, instead of him making that type of that decision, he should have talked it over with his wife so he could be able to make a conscious decision. He chose to do that on his own, and because he really wanted to just get rid of the situation. He really didn't want his wife to even find out at all. He thought he was just going to skate through the whole thing. But what he messed up was he put himself on child support. When you put yourself on child support and you married, come on now, stop it. What make it make sense? Miss Lynn say Nazia's brother is by her mother's husband. Yep. Yes, it is. He got her pregnant. Ro Baby, he got her, he SA'd Nazia's mother when she was 11 years old and got her pregnant. Yep. That is so true. Yep. Yep, that is so true. That's crazy. Yeah, Ro Baby say now that's a dysfunctional family. Like 40 years worth. Like it's crazy. That stuff been going on for quite some time. And then Ro Baby, it was like once that came out in the air about what happened to the mom, it's like, okay, so do the grandma feel some type of way, about Nazia? Did she feel some type of way for what happened to her mom? Because maybe Annette, the grandma, maybe she feels some type of way about her own daughter because she had a child by her husband. Can't make this stuff up. Just too much. Ms. Lynn say that's why the grandmother of the kids ran away. The grandmother has 7 kids, 3 girls, 4 boys, and the boys ran away and hadn't looked back. I bet. And then Nazia's brother, and he ran away. Them boys ran away. Ro Baby say, we need a movie out of this, girl. All of this what's going on with this family, it'll have to be a series. It would have to be a series, not just a movie. For real. Ms. Lamb. Child. Oh, y'all have me on here for like almost 4 hours, y'all. I am trying to run my little hours up though. Ms. Lynn said everyone ran away except for the twins. Yep. Then you got sick ass Shannon. She the main one over there sitting up here doing the whole most. The main one that should have took her ass on. For real. She over there just abusing every damn body. Even one of the cousins. One of the Nazia older cousin. That's crazy. Oh Lord, child. Okay, I have been on here, child, for 3 hours and 52 minutes. I've been sitting up in this chair. I'm ready to go lay down. I'm ready to sit back and chill for a little bit. Try to do a little bit more research on this other stuff. Charge my phone up. I love y'all, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I enjoyed y'all today. we have definitely covered a nice amount of content towards the story. We also I think it may be 2 more testimonies that I want to look into. It won't be tonight, of course, but my next live, or if not my next one, the one after that, or whatever, we probably can go over those. I need to look at them first so I can actually, just see basically if it's worth watching. Does it really like pretty much play a main key? Does it play a main part? And Ro baby girl, I'm about to do that for you right now. Okay? Like literally as we just spoke, what you said to me earlier, it's a plus sign. It is a plus sign. So I got you, boo. I'll be giving you a call. I'm about to end this live and put everything on charge, and I got you. And then I'm gonna give you a call. I love you, Miss Lynn. I love y'all. I'll see y'all maybe later on. If not, I will definitely see y'all tomorrow. Doodles. And y'all let me know if y'all end up finding some different stories or something. Don't hesitate to let me know and hit me in the inbox, either on Facebook Messenger or Instagram, or you can even if you need my information, you can probably comment under something, a post or something on my community wall, and we can go from there and we can communicate from that point. And if y'all come over and see any content y'all want me to cover, or pretty much just do some investigating behind it, or do a little research behind it, y'all let me know. Because I got a special request today, and I'm in the midst of looking into that as well. So definitely, yeah, I am Ro baby. That's what I'm saying. I got your special request, so I'm looking into that now. One thing I do know for sure, YouTube is not they don't have too much information on it, so I'm gonna have to find a different source to look into it. I probably literally just got maybe a couple of videos on that particular situation, on that story. So I'm gonna go on I'm gonna go to another a couple of other sources that I use and see what I can find on that. Alrighty, so I'll talk to y'all later. Again, love y'all. Good night.